everybody's heard by now, by the time we get on air, that Lieberman has, I don't want to use the terminologies that some listeners have used, but although I did like one listener, she wrote in and said, I don't even believe in the concept of hate, and I hate Joe Lieberman.
Really, yeah.
Okay. I mean, so the feelings about Joe Lieberman are obviously strong. So he says he might support and is likely to support a Republican filibuster of healthcare reform if it includes a public option.
It's almost like he likes being the focus of everyone's attention. If I didn't know better, I might think that.
Well, Ben, that's exactly it, though. But so let's get to, one, is it really true? Is he going to stick to it? And two, why is he doing it? Okay. Right. So those are the critical parts. All right. Number one, he's doing it. One, to poke Democrats in the eye, because he loves doing that, okay? It's just in his nature. And number two, on a more serious note...
It's in his nature. It wasn't in his nature, particularly until he was defeated by the party that sent him to the Senate in the first place, by the Democrats.
Well, no, but he had already defied the Democrats on 8 different occasions, and that's why he was defeated in the primary in 06.
Right, but now...
And in 06, remember, many senators in that primary were on his side, including a senator from Illinois by the name of Barack Obama. They came out and campaigned for him.
Barack Obama campaigned for Joe Lieberman in 2006.
Right. Now, some of those guys, after he lost the primary, switched over and supported the Democratic candidate, and for which he's never forgiven the Democrats. He was already screwing them over, but then after that, it became a personal thing for
That's
him.
what I mean. It became personal after this. I mean, yes, he always did it, but anyway, you're going to make a good point.
So, the more serious part of this is that he wants to frame, the more political side of this, is that he wants to frame himself as independent, bipartisan, I'm in the middle, I'm centrist. That's point number 2. Point number 3 is, he's saying, come to Papa. What do you got for me? You got to give me a lot here, and I'm open for negotiations from the Republican side, from the Democratic side, from the lobbyist side, and everybody give me candy. Give me political candy, money, etc., and then I'll decide, because now I'm the deciding vote. How do you like me now?
Give me candy, and I will store it in my ever-increasing jowls for consumption later.
Yes, and so now there's a bad side to that, which is now everybody has to go appease Joe Lieberman, right? And that's terrible, and it sucks. But the flip side to that is, hey, look, that's politics.
Yeah,
that's life in the big city.
Yeah,
okay?
That's the way it goes. That's happened a billion times before. It'll happen a billion times in the future.
And my dad said earlier today, look, there's always going to be a Lieberman, okay? If it's not Lieberman, it's someone else. And you got to know how to get beyond that, right? So now, the upside of that is he really going to do it? Not necessarily. Let me give you 3 very important quotes. When Huffington Post asked him if he expects that he would cast the vote that he's currently threatening, he answered, that depends. Okay, that in and of itself is enough of a quote. That depends means depends. Who's paying me more? Okay, who's paying me more in power, in political influence, and money for not direct money, but money for his campaigns, etc. What do you got for me? Now, we're going to get to what they might have for him on both sides in a second, but let me give you other quotes. When he said, I believe we need to have a debate on health care reform, and I hope to be in a position to vote yes on health care reform. Now, so what he's going to do is first initial thing is, yes, we're going to bring this to debate. Okay, we're going to have this discussion. And then when it...
Because there are 2 kinds of filibuster. The filibuster
right, this is important.
The filibuster could by the way, you're going to hear a report later from Fox News on Lieberman. They don't understand how it works at all. Yeah. They have no idea. 2 kinds of filibuster. You can filibuster to prevent debate, and they're not going to do that. Here, Lieberman is saying that he's going to let it at least go to it, but then what he would do is then stop the vote.
And so at the very end, he gets a filibuster again. So he doesn't do it in the first round, but he does do it in the second round. If there's still a public option in there, he says, I'm joining the Republicans.
Then he's not going to let that actual thing have an up or down vote.
Exactly, the final bill. Okay, so, but he said it depends, and in this quote he says, I hope to be in a position to vote yes on health care reform. Now, he could say, oh, I said that because of policy reasons, if they give me what I want policy-wise. But it could also mean if they give me what I want politically. And now the third quote. Would Lieberman really be the vote that sinks health care reform? When asked again about that by reporters, a scrum of reporters that gathered around him, which he loves, as Ben pointed out, one of the reasons he's doing this is for the spotlight. He loves the attention.
Joe Lieberman stands on principle when that principle suits him. And that is all he cares about, because the principle, as we've just heard here, as we talked about when it was the Democrats filibustering, it was a different principle that he stood on, an exact opposite principle that he focused then, because that made him the center of attention. Now it again makes him the center of attention. Joe Lieberman, in many ways, like my godson Owen, who's 5, but loves being the center of attention, and who can blame him? He's 5. Owen, by the way, cute. Joe Lieberman slowly morphing into John Madden.
So not quite as cute.
Not as cute.
It's what my friend Steve calls, what his daughter once said to him when she was 5. He calls it the "look at me, daddy" phenomenon.
Yeah, right.
Look at me, daddy. Look at me. I'm going to filibuster. I'm going to join the Republicans. Look at me. Give me candy. Give me candy. Right. But he says, when asked by the reporters if he's going to really sink healthcare reform, quote, "I'd hate to. I really want to get to yes." Gimme. Okay.
Right.
So now I view that as good news, because that means he can be bought. Yes, he can be bought by the other side, and he has been bought by the other side on many occasions, including this occasion. But it gives us the hope that he can be bought by our side. Now, real quick, why is he doing this other than the fact that he hates Republicans and hates Democrats and loves Republicans and loves being the center of attention? The insurance companies are in Connecticut. So they've been feeding Joe Lieberman his whole career. And
Chris Dodd.
Right. Now, but Chris Dodd, also from Connecticut, on the right side here.
Yeah.
So you don't have to take the lobbyist money and do as they tell you. But Joe Lieberman, of course, has been protecting him. Joe Lieberman is not even for a trigger. That's the absurdly weak option that Republican Olympia Snowe has. He's like, no, I don't even want that. Because wholly owned subsidiary of the insurance companies. So that does not bode well, because he's been bought for a long time by those guys that are in his home state. So that's bad news. But now look, as to what should be done about it.
He'll be for the trigger starting tomorrow.
Yeah, no, yes, obviously. And that's part of the negotiation. But look, so I'm a realist. I don't want to be emotional here and be like, oh my God, kick him out of the caucus, forget it, oh, I hate him, blah, blah, blah. No, we got to get the vote. We got to get the vote. So here's what I offer. Carrots and sticks, okay? Carrots, yes, Joe, what do you need, okay? You want another chairmanship? What do you need, right?
Carrots and sticks, by the way, it's a bad expression.
Uh-huh.
Who really wants a carrot now?
Not, unless it's carrot cake, there's some delicious versions of that.
I understand
but
it relates, I think, to rabbits, but really, carrots?
And why are you hitting rabbits with a stick? It's not right.
It's not right. It's
Okay.
not right. They're little defenseless animals.
So are we going to have to be uncomfortable and give Joe some things he wants? Now people will hate that, but look, that's politics. Okay.
Yeah.
On the other hand, when it comes to the stick, if he votes with the Republicans, I mean, should we take his chairmanship away? I mean, really, we're having this conversation?
Right, I would take his chairmanship away. I mean, look, it doesn't matter what we do. I was thinking about it on the drive over here. I'd take his chairmanship away, like, without telling him. Like, just Monday morning, and you'd be like, oh, no, you don't have that anymore. You can caucus with us. We don't care. Uh-huh. Because the one thing that he would hate most would be to become irrelevant. And the fact is, after a brief moment where he would be entirely the center of attention, he would become completely irrelevant if Democrats just shrugged and said, you know what, we don't have 60 now because he's not with us, so we're just going to be at 59. And now he's just one of 41 Republican senators, and that's it. Caucus with Republicans. You have no power here. You can caucus with us if you want. You don't have any chairmanships. You don't have any subcommittee chairmanships. You're on some committees, obviously, but that's it. You're stripped of seniority, and you can do whatever you want, but we're not interested in you anymore.
Yeah, and if he doesn't vote with us on this, then he is not the 60th vote. Then he's irrelevant.
Right. So,
because then there's no point in keeping him in the Democratic caucus. So obviously chairmanship gone, and I would actively kick him out of the caucus because he's just going to spy on them and tell the Republicans what they're doing.
I wouldn't care.
So,
I literally would. I just, it's like how my mom always used to say, you should deal with the Klan. You don't go out and protest. You just go about your business. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, they're having a march. I got to cross the street. I'm going shopping. Mm-hmm. Like you ignore it. You act like there's crazy people in town.
Right.
And you'd be like, hey, look, Joe Lieberman and Roland Burris are here. Those guys are crazy.
Now, by the way, the funny thing is Roland Burris is so right on this one.
Yeah, sure. Well, I mean, basically the other, 57 of the 60 Democrats are right on it. 58,
Right. And we're going to get to some of those other ones that are with Lieberman in a second. So, but so far, the Democrats have not threatened a single thing on Joe Lieberman.
No, in fact,
it just got started, so let's not be too tough.
Well, I mean, because if you hit him with the stick first of all, they probably won't make that public, because making that public almost reduces the carrot part of it. I mean, nobody likes to be bullied.
Right.
Least of all, precious little Joe Lieberman.
And now, look, you got to bully him, but if you make it public, then he can't save face.
Right.
And in politics, that's important.
So,
So, I mean, when it gets time to carrots and sticks, it's funny because this caller who called in many, many years ago said this about Joe Lieberman, and we should listen to him again.
Supposed to do, you take them out of the office and hit them with a stick a couple times. They will do.
Okay, they will do. They will do.